we're back, and this is Blockbuster Pick-ems.
Did you just pull your pencil from your beard,
Anything
Mike?
for my princess.
I keep other things in there too.
I literally was like looking at the camera, and then I saw in the corner, he's like, I was like, was he holding it in his mouth? Or was
Do you need
it
to borrow
like
a pencil? I think
He just pulled it out of
Is
his
that what
beard.
you were doing?
No, I
It's
don't.
like a
I'm actually
tiny baby
I just
pencil.
got an eraser in there.
That's
sorry.
weird.
As you can tell, we're four very experienced film gurus, and we're here to talk movies with you. Because as we all know, movies are only as good as the money they make,
That's right.
Woo.
and
Money.
after that, they're shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So,
movies suck.
Before we get into our highly qualified opinions, I'd like to introduce everybody. I'm David. I'm a
David.
former champion. Thanks, guys. And the current
reigning
champion.
champion,
This is Lauren Decker.
Hi, my name is Lauren,
And
and
to,
I'm a movie
to her
guru.
right is Michael Fisher.
Hey everybody,
Hey, Mike.
Mike, how you doing this week?
dude. I'm good. It's a little warm here in Southern California.
Yes, just to brag a bit.
Just a brag.
And our two-time champion and number one all-around guy, Matthew Sanford.
Highly
When did we
qualified.
decide this?
His intro changes
I
every
vote?
week.
Every week. And I don't
Every week
do.
his intro
I
changes.
don't hark back
Can't
to
really
the
tell
same
if I love
bullshit,
Matt.
Mike.
I love
Well,
it.
this
I love
week-
it.
We're going to show our two-time champion some love. But before we get into what happened,
Okay, Mike, that's enough love.
Gross.
we are into a deep part of the summer where last year we were not doing very well. In fact, last week I said we were 8% up in sales in the box office, even with MoviePass kind of like tanking. It's like the best
And coming
part.
back, and then tanking
And
again, then coming
tanking
back
and then
again.
grabbing
Yeah.
some money from mom, and then coming back again.
Can I borrow $5 more bucks?
And then apparently now they don't even really want to do the MoviePass thing.
Well,
the whole
3
I got
times a
an email
month.
today where you
Yeah, me
get
too.
like
I
only
got that.
3 movies a week.
Yeah,
a
and
month,
then you get a
but-
$5 off any other additional movies that you
which
do.
is bullshit.
to stay around for a little while longer and to appease their investors, they're just gonna sell a bunch of your data. So what movies you like, how old you are, all the stuff that you gave to them to sign up is now free for them to sell.
Cat person, dog
Your
person, where you
email
live.
address.
Well, all I know is
Favorite
I didn't
mythical
read
creature.
the terms and conditions, so
So MoviePass, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. But
What do you mean you own my soul? What?
How good you are at
damn.
Catan,
South Park
Monopoly
episode.
record, all that stuff.
But like basically we're 18% up from last weekend of last summer this week. So that's a
Wait.
big chunk. 18% up from last year. This week last year.
okay,
In box
okay.
office
In
sales.
box office numbers. So
I
we
thought you
won't,
meant
in ticket
this week
sales.
from last week.
So I'm
to
just-
this year
no.
so
from
I'd like
last year.
to like
Well,
take
that's
a
a very
moment and
interesting
ask the
story.
gurus your professional opinions. Is there any assumptions or analysis of what the executives in Hollywood are doing with the extra money they got from us this summer?
Sequels.
Sequels,
Sequels,
more
yeah.
sequels.
More
Planning an
sequels.
Amazon series or a
Taking-
Netflix series.
Taking
or
animated movies and making them live action.
Oh, more Anna babies.
Yeah.
realistically
No.
Oh
though,
no, these are the
They're
mutated
anamorphins.
Annababies. Mutated Annababies.
realistically though, like Scrooge McDucking and just diving into the
Oh, for
vat
sure.
of gold and
Trying to deal
and
with all
money
the
and
sexual
If
harassment
you-
lawsuits and paying all
like
those
that
off.
scene from Wolf of Wall Street where they're banging on the money. You know that's.
I like
what
how you
envision.
go from
If you had to
Scrooge
fill-
McDuck
Children's
to
video
Wolves of
commer-
Wall
yeah,
Street.
exactly. Yeah.
If you had to fill a pool with one thing other than water, what would you fill it with?
Jello.
Jello.
Wow.
Kool-Aid,
I
sorry,
was
I
gonna say
meant
Jello
Kool-Aid.
too, but
Oh.
I was like,
Kool-Aid?
Matt's an easy one.
That seems like a
Ah.
rich person problem. What do I
Jello.
fill this pool with?
Jello is
Hawaiian
the perfect
punch.
answer. Or
Water.
pudding.
Water. Right,
Water.
so hot, just water, please.
Evian, though.
Steam.
I want
Evian.
Evian.
Oh man, Evian. Not anything necessary.
Dry
so
ice.
Just steal the water right back out.
Ice cubes.
So speaking of cold, hard cash, what happened this
Facts.
week, Matt, in the box office?
Well, speaking of cold, it's actually pretty hot. The box office, I mean.
No, it's not.
Okay. Anyway, in the box office this weekend,
Please tell us.
some movies came out,
What ones?
and other movies were still out.
What were the actuals?
Number one was Mission Impossible Fallout.
oh,
It made $35.3 million.
Wowzers.
Yeah, wowzers. Number two was Christopher Robin, which is $24.5 million.
Wowzers. Even wowzers. More.
Excuse me,
okay?
I had a Winnie the Pooh in my throat. Number three is The
Gross.
Spy Who Dumped Me, 12.1, Mila Kunis and
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. Thank you, Lauren.
You're
Number
not
four
welcome.
was Mamma Mia, You could say that one in Italian accent,
Mario
right?
and
I mean,
Luigi.
why is it
Italy,
not? It's not.
The Mario and Luigi.
Mamma Mia is a Greece,
It
a
happens
Greek
in
thing,
Greece.
but it's a Greek thing to say Mamma Mia.
No, that's
no,
Italian,
it's
but the
Italian.
movie
What?
takes
It
place
doesn't
in
make
Greece.
sense.
It's
then.
an ABBA song, and ABBA says it like this, Mamma Mia.
They don't say like a Mamma Mia or
To
do
them,
like the
it's very
fingers.
specific.
Or,
No.
Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
It's all
I feel like
staccato.
Michael Corleone would have been really upset with that one.
Right.
Number 5 was
this is The
Equalizer 2 or The Sequelizer. Made $8.7 million. Did I say Mamma Mia made $9 million?
You did
I don't
know.
know if I didn't say that.
You did know.
Did or did not
There
say
you go.
that. Those are the totals in the
can't
box
believe it.
office.
Now, before we get into what exactly happened, I'm going to quickly explain how we play Blockbuster Pick-ems.
Oops.
So, before we get into that, here is how we score the picks. Every week, each 5 of us, as you can tell, pick what we think is going to happen in the box office. If you get one of your picks within the top 5, you get 5 points. If it happens to land in the correct spot, you get another 5 points. If you guess the total gross of the weekend within $100,000 over or under, you get 10 points. That's 5 slots. That's 20 points a slot. You could get 100 points if you fill up your slots. So,
Hundreds.
it's like a really hard test.
What do we average, basically?
F.
30.
This season, our highest was 50, and
So we're-
this
our
way,
lowest
was what, 15?
I got 15.
this week we got
oh,
our
shit.
lowest of the season.
Applause.
Let's just move into it because I'm like, before I say too much.
Okay, so with that, this is how it panned out for the 4 of us. If you're playing at home, you can also use the scoreboard how you like, and you'll be able to determine who in your league won. But here's how we did it. In first place was Mikey the Fish. Mike
Thank you.
Fisher got 35 points.
That's
in
a sad first place.
Yeah, that's
35 points, and the only reason is because he put Mamma Mia in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And in second place came Lauren Decker. She made 30 points. Way to go, Lauren.
Good job.
Then in third place was myself with 20 points.
Bullshit.
And in last place with what Mike said was the lowest score of the season, 15 points.
I mean, 20 is
I
also
jinxed
a pretty
myself.
low
Sorry,
score
In the
as
Dave.
middle
well.
of the episode when we were recording last week, I knew I jinxed myself because I thought, hey, I could go a whole season without getting a humiliation. I feel like it was that moment of like,
hubris, yeah.
yes, that killed me. I didn't even say anything out loud. I was just thinking, oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, jinxed yourself.
You guys
Totally
got me really
fudged
nervous
it.
for Christopher Robbins last week because I put it at 22.3. So you guys got me all nervous last week. 'Cause all of you put it
Yeah.
over 30,
And-
and then I ended up being pretty close to right on
Well,
that
you
one.
were
if
very
you
close,
didn't
yeah.
notice, Mike, we were the same on our total gross.
Mhm.
So if we would
I actually had to do the math 3 times. I'm like, really?
Oh,
yeah,
98.9.
I
yeah.
trusted the computer, but I was like, wow, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good thing I
Had
pulled
David
up
and I tied, I would have been in last
And
place.
to explain, like
Yeah.
I put
By,
8th
like,
grade
1 point.
so much
$1 million.
higher than it even came into the same like stratosphere, or like they didn't even get close. It didn't even launch off the ground really.
Which one?
8th grade.
8th grade.
I put
yeah.
it
the
very
idea.
high last week. I want to be
Oops.
after it.
Movies that came out that we all thought were going to be up there.
18,
Darkest Minds
yeah.
was number 8 at $5.8 million. You guys had that one on the nose. Who was bashing that one last week?
I
which one?
was
8th grade?
bashing,
8th
Darkest
grade
Minds,
got
not 8th grade.
12th place at $2.8 million. And Death of a Nation
16 million under what
13th
I said.
at $2.3 million.
Yeah.
So
Good thing none of us put that in our top 5.
And if you thought
3 of the
last
5
week,
movies I talked about last week did not make it in the top 5.
yeah, and if you thought last week was difficult, we have a very difficult week this week. I don't even know what to do with the picks
Yeah,
for
there's
this
a
week.
lot of things happening.
So let's all hop on over to our favorite corner. It's Mike's movie corner of the week.
Come on, hop on over, guys. Hop on over.
comfiest
Come on.
corner I
Come
know.
on. Nice. I love your hopping, guys.
I'm refused to
Matt
participate
was the
in
only
that.
one that's not a sport. You
I'm
guys saw
in-
it right there.
I'm
He was
in
the
my
only one that
corner.
didn't even try. Lauren at least wiggled a little.
I'm
bit.
gonna say I was tempted when I
Yeah.
saw you the way you guys
I
were
was
like going
yeah,
at
you've
it. I
been
was
here the
really
whole time.
I've
tempted.
been in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's just ignore Matt for a
Yeah.
second. Mike, what's up in the?
We're only on this half of this corner.
Yes.
That's what's up in the corner.
This is zooming in. I like
Turn
to
the
start
table.
with the movies that are coming out in the widest release. So coming in over 3,900 theaters, our big
Wow.
release of the week. One of the biggest releases we've had in a little while since Mission Impossible first released. The Meg, starring Jason Statham, Rainn Wilson, and Ruby
the
Rose.
Megalodon.
And let's not forget the Megalodon.
Ruby Rose, that's the girl from Orange is the New Black. Is that
Yeah,
her?
that's the girl from like all
Though
the
the
tabloids.
John Wick 2.
Looks like the female version of Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't really write so much a description because there's so much going on in this movie that I didn't realize until I was
It's
reading about it.
a 755
Yeah,
foot
basically.
shark.
Rainn
So
Wilson's
it's-
in this one,
Rainn
too?
Rainn Wilson is in this movie. Captain
White.
Jonas Taylor. He was dishonorably discharged because he aborted a mission that abandoned half of his crew and they were all lost because he saw the
Meg.
Megalodon. But no one believed him. No one
So
believed
he
him.
left because he was like, I saw this, you guys should
We
come
got to
with
abort
me.
mission, and they're like, no, we got to follow the mission, and they all died by the
Yeah,
Megalodon.
yeah.
But no one believes them because this thing's been extinct for millions and millions of years. So,
No way, man. It's the
Well, like early
Megalodon.
Cretaceous period,
no,
maybe
it's-
tertiary period.
If you really want to go in depth, I guess we can talk
gotta
about
ask
this.
somebody
What I do
else.
know is all the sonars picked it up as just a big rock. for
This
all these
island's
years.
moving. So he lost his career and he lost his honor, and his marriage fell apart.
Lost his honor. That's the
so-
worst thing that could have
That's
happened.
my
in
Yeah,
that
out of all those, honor was the
Sounds
one
like
thing.
Vince Vaughn at Average Joe's Gym.
So everything was kind of bad for
Lost his
him
honor.
until a submersible lied sunk and disabled at the bottom of the ocean where his wife was at. His ex-wife, I guess. I don't know. His
Well,
family fell
is she
apart.
dead?
Jurassic Park.
And Jonas must come and save the day. Jason Statham coming back.
I like that part about this.
That is
I feel like the whole movie's
coolest
just gonna be like
part.
Jason Statham, Megalodon.
He's gonna say some really
I think that
quirky
you just
things
nailed it.
in
Right,
those
he's
like
gonna be
weird
great.
submersibles that he's gonna be in. He's gonna say things like, "Oh shit, look at the size of it."
The only thing I've read about this is how
It's a shark.
Yeah, well, about
It's
how
a-
shark
yeah.
attacks are ruining the shark culture because they're
Well, that was
actually
the whole problem
endangered.
with like Jaws.
And yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah.
shark attacks. Like, there's no such thing as a shark attack.
The director of this movie directed Rush Hour, all the National Treasure movies, Three Ninjas, and
Wait.
Cool Runnings.
This is gonna be an excellent
All of
film.
the
I
National
need to
Treasure
change my
movies?
picks.
Two of them. Two of them. Yeah, change your picks
Change my
now.
picks. Cool Runnings? No way.
Yeah.
Change it. It's going up.
If you don't, that one's PG-13 coming out from Warner Brothers. But if you want a little PG, take off that 13.
Yeah, screw that 13.
Why not check out Dog Days coming in about 2,500 theaters from LD Entertainment. This
Lauren Decker Entertainment.
Yeah, Lauren Decker Entertainment. This stars Vanessa Hudgens, Finn Wolfhard from the Stranger Things, and Ava Longoria. This follows a group of interconnected people who live in Los Angeles who are
All
brought
budding
together
Oscar
by
winners.
their lovable canine.
What was that movie?
companions.
Valentine's Day, but with dogs.
It's
right?
basically yeah. It's like the only movie that really worked for was what was the British one? The
Love Actually.
Love Actually.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's great. Actually, love it. Actually, love
and then
it.
everything
I'm
else
hereby
is just a
changing the
spin-off.
nickname of Dog Days to Valentine's Dog.
Valentine's Day
They
love
make a
dog.
joke about that
Actually,
on, what,
Yeah.
30 Rock, where it's like Leapfrogs Day,
Oh,
Leap
yeah.
Day, and they're like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Leap Day. Yeah, New Year's Eve they did that too.
I just
oh
always
god.
have loved you.
Jim Carrey.
At this
That's
point,
a
just
good-
just give it to Hallmark.
A bunch of
Love to
people's
see
Just
that.
stop.
stories that revolve around dogs and how the dogs bring
I
them
mean,
all
that's pretty
together.
cool.
It's cute. People
Best
love
in
dogs.
Show?
Aw.
I wish it was like Best in Show.
It's a higher budget
Christopher
Hallmark
Guest
film.
directed it. If you want to put that 13 back on that PG,
I might
Good,
want it
because
back
that
on.
was-
that was interesting.
I might
Uh,
need that
felt lacking.
13.
how
Yeah.
about our horror movie of the week?
Hey now.
Coming in
Of
about
the
a little
season, maybe.
Yeah,
No.
Will we
saw
have any
The
horror
Purge,
films?
Right? The Purge.
Does that count as
that's
a
more
horror
like
film?
a thriller than I
Scared the
think.
shit out of me, man.
Okay.
I put them all in the same category.
I mean,
don't
not in the
see
same
them.
way. It
Yeah.
wasn't like jump scare scary. It was politically scary, but
It was more
I mean,
like,
Mission
why am I
Impossible is
aroused
scary,
right now?
man.
Scary.
Real life is political scary, man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Coming
I
from
hate that
Sony and Screen Gems, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
a branch
them.
off of
Good.
Sony. Slender Man. The story of a tall, thin, horrifying figure with unnaturally long
Limbs.
Are you okay?
long arms
Sorry.
and
Yes.
featureless face who is responsible for the haunting and the disappearance of countless children and teens.
I
So
feel like this is a bad movie to make because of all those
it
murders
really,
that
well,
have
yeah.
actually happened
If you
because
don't
of
know,
this.
yeah, if you don't know anything about like Slender Man, like there was a real story about some kids who were like Slender Man was like a real kind of, it was like a meme or
It's like-
something. It was like
yeah,
a picture of like a creepy figure in the background of a forest wearing like a suit,
And then
but
it
really
became
long.
like a video game.
Yeah, it
and then
became
like
a hunting,
religion
yeah.
But these
almost.
girls, this one girl, or no, it was a couple of girls.
Three
that,
girls,
like
yeah.
they started reading
Their
about
friend-
Slender
their
Man and
friend
all
goes
these
missing.
folklore of it, and then they basically take their friend to the forest and like stab her and kill. Like try
Wait,
to
is this
kill
the
her.
real movie?
No,
is
this
this
is
the
the
movie or
real
the real
story.
thing?
Real
Oh,
story.
And they try to kill her. I
Yeah.
don't think she died. I think she survived
I
it.
think, yeah,
But she was
barely.
missing. Yeah, barely, because she was missing for a while. And when the cops found these kids, they were claiming that Slender Man told them that
Told
they
them
had
what
to
Which
to
do
almost
it.
feels very controversial.
And
that
it's
this movie's
really
being made.
similar to like the story of this movie. Yeah, it feels weird to make a movie like this.
Because that's the whole thing is that.
Do you
they
think
did
that the crime
murders
was
based
viral
off of the
marketing?
Original stories.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking a lot about. Yeah, we didn't hear
I
that.
heard you.
We were talking a lot about Purge and Sicario too. How very similar the themes of those movies are to like how
They're
fearful
buying into the
people
pe-
are
yeah.
today. This is way too similar. I feel like to like the theories.
Like a
theories of
real
today.
life
Yeah.
and not to
story.
mention online, there's a lot of backlash that like they're 6 years too late. Like
I
people
mean,
were
a
like, the
little
whole
bit.
Slender Man craze was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Sony, like,
Well,
why
I feel
didn't
like
you
they did that
dive
to
on it then?
avoid
Yeah,
this whole
exactly.
story.
If they would have done it, then it probably would have been way worse. It would
Uh,
have been way more like insensitive.
But that's
Yeah.
our horror movie of the week. But now we have our rated R movie of the week. BlacKkKlansman coming in about.
that one actually looks really fun.
This one looks fantastic.
It's actually labeled as a drama, but there's a lot of humor in it as well. But
Spike Lee.
yeah, Spike Lee directed this. The story of Ron Stallworth, an African-American police officer from Colorado, successfully managed to infiltrate the local Ku Klux Klan to become the head of the local chapter. And this is based off of a true story.
Yes.
It stars John David Washington, the son of Denzel Washington, Adam Driver, and Topher Grace and Alec Baldwin. Like I said, Spike Lee directed this, and when they premiered it at Cannes, he got a 6-minute standing ovation for this movie.
Yeah,
It's not coming out in very many theaters.
It's not coming out in many theaters, but as Matt likes to say, the Oscar kind of movie.
Yeah, definitely an Oscar
early
run.
Oscar
But I
Yeah.
could see this picking up in theaters counts. But it looks really great. I also think it probably doesn't have that much theater counts because they're trying to not show a lot of the theaters. The South. But yeah,
Maybe
those.
they
Can we see a
do.
map of that?
They
Yeah.
might get just as many ticket sales. It's kind of like a thing to do. Like you give it to that audience so they can see it, pay you money, and you kind of
And
yeah.
say, ha,
Yeah,
ha,
like
ha,
naming
ha.
your film "Death of a Nation." You know.
That didn't do very well either. That's how they feel about it. Those are the movies of the week.
What a great corner time.
All right, well, let's roll right into it.
Can we get out of the corner though?
We're gonna leave the corner.
Okay.
And
You
we're
guys
gonna
can
go
hop
back
out. You
into
guys
the
can hop
main
back out. Hop back
Okay,
out of the corner.
Good,
hop
good.
back
I
out
just
of
need
the
some
corner.
air.
Let's go in the main
Some space.
area. Okay.
Oh,
A lot of
okay.
musk.
Yeah.
Because it's time for round 6.
Ding.
This is the lightning round. We're gonna go whip around the circle, starting with our first to last place from last week, and we're gonna go through our picks. So everybody whip out your own picks, that is, and let's start. First, Mike, congratulations.
Thank you. I don't feel good about going first
You're our
this
leader.
week. It's
Well,
this is a
too
little
bad.
nerve wracking
It
this
should
week.
be.
It's a weird week, so
I'm gonna judge every pick.
It's
you
gonna
make.
suck.
harshly. Let's start with number one. I'm putting the Meg. Number one at $33.8 million.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
33.8. It's coming in at a huge amount of theaters. I think it could, with almost 4,000 theaters, I think it can get 33 million. Number two, I put Mission Impossible at 21.3. I think it's keeping up there. I think it is Mission Possible that it will stay at number
Good
two.
one.
Number three, I'm putting Slender Man at 13 even. And my picks are very close in these last three. Christopher Robin, I'm putting at 12.9.
Wow.
And Dog Days, I'm putting at 11.7.
Whoa,
Wow.
didn't see that one coming.
No.
Interesting. My pen is dead.
It's your turn,
Was that
Lauren.
the interesting part of my picks?
No.
the pen?
No, your pen.
Yeah.
My pen.
Hmm.
All right.
I think that's my pen, actually.
Hold on one second. We have a bit of a pen predicament here.
Oh,
I have a pen
thanks
for
so
you.
much.
Here we go.
Okay, pens solved. Number one. Wait, hang on. Mission Impossible 6.
It's just on an empty. You're literally on an empty page.
I
It
was
like,
not
hold
on an empty page.
Oh.
I was on my
Oh,
math
I was
page.
like,
That is
that's
not in
an-
order. Mission Impossible 6 at 18.7. I don't think that. Okay. Anyway. Number
We'll talk.
two.
We'll talk.
Christopher Robin at 16.2. Number 3, The Meg at 16.1. Number 4, The Spy Who Dumped Me at number 7.8 at 7.8 mil. And number 5, Slender Man at 7.0.
Wow. Interesting picks. I guess it's my turn.
You want to switch? I can switch with
No,
you.
no.
I'll
We're
take that
good.
point.
We're good. Number 1 for me is going to be Mission Impossible Fallout with $20.1 million. Number 2, The Meg at $19.5 million. Number 3, Christopher Robin. I'm inspired by Mike last week. $13.4 million. Number 4, Slender Man, $11.5 million. And number 5, The Spy Who Dumped Me, $6.4 million.
All right.
Those is my picks.
I'll go now. So at number 1, I've kind of followed suit with most people here except for Mike.
Yep.
Sorry,
I
Mike.
went Mission Impossible, retaining the summer lead at $20.8 million.
Wow.
At number 2, I have Meg, coming in very, very close, however, at $20.2 million. Only 600,000 less, I guess. Number 3, Christopher Robin with $13.7 million. Number 4, Spy Who Dumped Me at 7.2, and rounding out my number 5 is Slender Man at 7 even.
Whoa. Wow, why are you copying me?
So, Mike, dog days?
Yeah, I put dog days in there. People like dogs. People like dogs more than they like people.
So I
I
do
agree
think
with
that
that.
there are a couple of examples of what I think 2 things. But Mike, I'll let you. Do you have anything to judge people on?
Oh, off of you guys. Yeah. None of you like Meg making
No.
any money, even with the coming out in about 4,000 theaters.
I compared this one a lot to Geostorm. I feel like heavily CGI. Like, yes, it's got somebody who we want to see in action movies. Gerard Butler was in Geostorm, and now we get Jason Statham. So I kind of compared it to that. Geostorm made 4,250 per theater on opening weekend, so I kind of like just did the number on the theaters, but I gave it a little bump because of Shark Week, so I gave it about 5,000 per theater, which put me at 19.5. That's where I kind of got my inspiration.
I did some research because I had no idea what to think about Meg because of the theater count, like you said, Mike, is so like astronomical compared to everybody else. It's almost into the 4,000 range, which only happens sometimes in like the middle of the school year, so to speak. So I think the thing about Meg that is interesting is that I have a feeling it'll be the best, they were calling it, creature in the water movie. Because when I was looking at the numbers for movies that have a creature in the water,
Sharknado does not count.
No, it does count.
Oh, what?
But it doesn't rank.
They weren't
but
in the
that
water.
counts Jaws and the 3D Piranha movies that have come out recently.
Those are the best.
And then even if you factor in some of the movies with the boat, something's going wrong with the boat. Nothing has ever beat 19 million on an opening day. So I think that it'll barely be the number 1 creature in the water disaster movie ever, and still not beat out Mission Impossible because Tom Cruise is the only real.
I've been hearing so much good things about it, so.
I think that
Mission
Impossible had $61 million, and now it's going. We're all estimating around $20 million. I think there's $40 million for an action movie, and that's where I thought Meg is going to pick up on that steam.
Interesting.
It's been really hard to predict this summer because the kids' movies haven't been doing especially well. The action movies seem to be doing okay. Nothing's really going the way anyone expects over the summer, so it'll be interesting. But you guys really like Spy Who Dumped Me. Everyone kept that in there.
Gonna fall out. It's like Mamma Mia.
It got a B+ cinema score, and it's like the best cinema score that Mila Kunis has gotten in like a lot of her movies that she's starred in since Bad Moms. So she's kind of on that good run. I think she has a really strong following. And then again, like there's people that watch TV and really like Kate McKinnon got a really great review. 2 weeks in a row, I can't remember her name. That's not a good sign.
Kate McKinnon.
Thank you.
McKinnon.
Funnier than Amy
think-
Schumer.
I think
That's
that she's
very
much
much funnier
funnier
than
than Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer.
That's not that hard.
But for some reason, Amy Schumer makes more money, or used to.
I think the most obvious thing on all of our picks, though, is none of us think it's going to be a very big week.
No.
All of us have everything
My top
really
is
low.
18.7.
Yeah. But, I mean, no one has anything that high.
It's definitely a lull after a lot of releases. you
Yeah.
know?
For show.
Yeah.
For
Definitely.
show.
Alright.
I actually compared Slender Man a lot to the 2005 movie Boogeyman. I don't know why. Just for some reason, when I was thinking about the trailer and thinking about the movie, I was like,
you got to remember
this
that's
is probably
like
gonna be
13
Here's the
years
weird
ago.
thing about
No, I get it. I was
summer.
just looking at the opening weekend, what it kind of like did, just because I know it's like an original horror film. I know it's based off of an idea, which is also the Boogeyman.
This
so I
movie
just thought they were
comes
very
out
similar.
last Halloween. It makes like $20 million.
Easy.
You're gonna get a lot of those.
I'm pretty sure like the first trailer came out.
You're gonna get a
at that
lot
time.
of kids that are not gonna be allowed to see it this summer. In the middle of the afternoon is when these kids go to these movies. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. For some reason, it just seems too early in the year to be giving us this type of film.
Well,
Yeah, everyone's pretty similar on a lot of them, though. Just
let's all go not see Slender Man.
Yeah, I probably won't
Don't
see
see
it.
it.
Don't
Just
see it.
Just play those really scary games.
We're
where
not
you
going to be
gotta,
able to
like, get
see a
out of
movie
house
this
before
weekend
he
because the
kills you.
Blockbuster Pick-em gang is going to Vegas. If you're in
Yeah.
Vegas, you can come check us out. We will be there.
We
We're
will
going to do a
not be
live
doing it.
podcast there. Right? Was I the only one that agreed to a live
MGM,
podcast?
yeah, we had
Yeah.
MGM Grand.
Oh,
We got a letter
Only
saying
doing
we're
the
not allowed to
podcast.
do it at MGM.
The Bellagio
Circus
was
Circus
like,
said we
Wait,
could
no,
do
do
oh,
not
that.
okay.
show up, please. Please.
I was
do
hoping the
not show up.
Flamingo.
No,
Maybe.
they said no to. Circus Circus was the only one that said yes.
Which
Yes.
is perfect.
We will be in the
That's
have to
high
have a
roller
clown
for about
behind
30
us the whole
minutes.
time.
We'd be in the high roller for the amount of time we paid for.
Yeah,
And we're in the
Top
heavily
Golf.
25
smoking
minutes.
section too.
We'll be at Top
unfortunately,
Golf.
So it's gonna be very hazy. It's not haze. It's cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
So for all of
No
you that are
worries.
going to be stuck at home while you're listening to this,
Have fun.
Yes.
Sorry to be you.
Sorry, not
It's okay.
sorry.
School actually starts for me the next week, so I got to go
Sucks
out with
to
a
suck.
bang.
all right. Well, in the Blockbuster world, it's really hard to get one humiliation. To have to do two in a row, it's almost like
It means
part
that
of
you
your
suck.
soul is being
Who just
sucked
got first place,
from you.
Lauren?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
I
twice.
did.
Second.
How many
2 times in a row.
humiliation films have you done this season?
2.
Oh, sorry, I'm already in the.
Hers
I'm
were
pretty
hers were
sure
back
that-
to back too.
Yeah,
weren't they?
Lauren.
She had a two
I'm
humiliations.
above
Hey,
you,
don't lean
though.
towards me.
Guys.
I'm not in this with you.
I'm not.
Like, please.
I'm not leaning towards you. Okay, there's a wall.
The truth is
Oh,
pushing
yeah.
her away, and she's
She's-
breaking her microphone again.
I rule.
Lauren tends to break her microphone.
You
All right.
broke it last week,
I
Dave.
did break
Episode
her
4.
last week.
Check out episode 3.
Yeah, go back to 3 and 4 and check it out, guys.
Roll
All
the
right, so-
tape.
Did Mark Wahlberg
I
just
guess
show
so.
up?
But,
in
uh,
here?
Hey guys,
Hey.
was that Transformer in here?
Hey, everybody.
The Bumblebee trailer just came
Yeah,
out.
the Bumblebee trailer. Just
I
came out.
watched Pacific Rim Uprising, and
Oh.
all I could say, the only thing that I could say
John
is
Boyega
it
was
could
awesome.
use a little more Marky Mark.
That movie was so disappointing. I was so disappointed with that
They-
movie.
they're
I
all
really loved
disappointing
the
in
first
their own
one.
way. It was better than the first one, I think.
The
Anyway,
first one
Rim
was
was
disappointing
awesome.
too. Sorry, we have like a podcast.
a-
Oh yeah.
two.
Hey
Welcome
guys,
back.
welcome to Blockbuster.
That was a
I'd say
commercial
it's
break.
like $100 out of $600 because this is that kind of show. All right.
Yes.
So it's actually not. What we like to do is we like to humiliate each other with bad movies, and we tend to not really review anything until then. So
Who was humiliated this week, Dave?
Mike, again, that's what
By
I was
who?
getting into.
By me.
By Lauren. So Lauren, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, remind everybody what
I
movie
don't
you
think
picked
she
for
remembers
Mike
the
to
name of the
watch.
movie.
The Memoirs of an International Assassin,
that's right.
starring Paul Blart.
All right, take it away.
Sorry, it's the
Kevin
true
James.
memoirs.
Kevin
That's
James.
important. The true memoirs.
Oh.
So, last week I did a whole historical opening of that. This movie is not. Usually I have a lot of notes written out of the movies I review. I didn't
Show us your notes.
They're like this big on the paper.
You
It's
really
just a
know
couple of the
it's-
names.
When
I
Mike
went with Lauren
opens up-
Stagger. I usually take a lot of notes when I'm watching the
Right.
movie. This one motivated me to not even pick up the pen.
My movies tend to
Motivated you to
Yeah,
not pick up the
yeah.
pen. Usually it's you have to have motivation.
Usually
too.
I'm more motivated to like actually write about it. This one I was like, no, I don't wanna.
How long
Well,
is
until
this
you get
movie?
that next.
4 hours, actually like an hour and 38 minutes.
I actually bought it. I was like,
4 hours. When they say true, they
It's
got
like Paul
actual
Blart would do.
documentation you
so
have to
it's
go
starring
through.
Kevin James, and like I said, the title's important because it's the true memoirs of an international assassin. So this movie follows Kevin James.
Is this a true story?
Let me talk about it, Lauren. Damn it.
You're not getting to it fast enough.
So this follows Sam Larson. He's an author, and he's writing this action movie book about like an assassin, and he's writing, and it does that thing where it's like when he's picturing like the movie, he's picturing himself as this character Mason Carver, who's like an action hero, and when he like doesn't know how to kill the guy, he like stops to think, and then like his imagination like stops and like hangs out. It's like one of those kinds of movies. So
What, the Adam Sandler one where he talks about bedtime stories?
I didn't even watch that one. That's a humiliation film, I think, too.
It
So he kind of gets writer's block. He's like has this kind of dead end job in a cubicle, but he wants to be an author and he loves writing action movies, and he like, researches all the ways to like be an assassin, like how to use guns and like how to use knives and like,
That's a
fighting
big
style
red
and
flag.
stuff. You know, he's a very lonely man. So
This is how I always picture Tom
Step
Clancy.
one,
with
buy
all
a
of
gun.
his-
yeah, seriously, it's
It's
kind of
like Tom Clancy, like a wannabe
but like
Tom
way
Clancy.
bigger.
Yeah.
Because he's Kevin James. So
I've never
when he-
actually seen what Tom Clancy looks like.
It's
I don't know.
just
He
like
could
Tom
be.
Clancy.
He
James.
could be as
Kevin
big as
James.
Yeah, minus
George R.R.
mustard.
Martin. You know, you never know.
You don't know. So whenever he gets writer's block, he goes and hangs out with his friend Amos. So they go to a pool hall, and
Wait, who?
Amos,
His
Lauren, get
friend
the facts.
No,
Do
it's
you
a
need
guy,
to?
it's an older guy.
Lauren, write
and he used
down
to
the
work for
details.
the CIA. He used to work for the CIA,
Oh,
and
good.
he
Now, was
gets
that a pool with
ideas.
Kevin James?
What's that?
Nothing.
I'm sure it was a great comment. But he gets ideas from Amos, and basically Amos tells him about this guy, the Ghost. Because he's like, how would you survive a helicopter crash? He's like, you would jump out of the helicopter before it crashes because the ghost did it. But don't put that in your book because the ghost is still out there. So what does Kevin James do?
He
Puts it in his fucking
goddamn
book.
Puts, you guys write this movie? I think you guys wrote this movie.
I did.
How much money did you get from Adam Sandler? Nothing.
$20.
So
I
he
was
writes the ghost at the end. He's like, I'm the ghost. And like he tries to publish the book and everyone rejects him. Except this one girl's like, I want to
Who's
publish
like,
your
I'm
book.
The ghost.
No, she's not the ghost.
Yeah, she's not. Damn, that would
she's
have been
all
a great
like,
twist.
I want to
What a
publish your
feminist
book. I want to publish your book. I want to put it online. You know, so he signs over the rights to the book, and then
Yeah.
he like looks it up online for fiction, and then he finds out she labels it true memoirs of an international assassin.
Oh, no.
So now everyone thinks this is a true story about him as the
Oh,
ghost.
boy.
This is really funny.
This is where it turns.
How long is this into the
Oh,
movie
that's
that we
the
find
twist.
this out?
So
That's
now he
like
has
the
to
first
go out and
25
prove all those
minutes.
things.
Oh,
So
I love
First
this
25
conception.
minutes?
he's at his house, and then someone kidnaps him.
Oh, good.
Of course.
And drugs
The
him,
ghost.
and he wakes up, and they take off the
Hopefully.
blindfold, and it's a bunch of gorillas in Venezuela, and they kidnap him, take him to Venezuela, and El Toro, played by
a gorilla.
no, it was played by
Wait, are you mean like real gorilla?
no, like gorilla.
no, like guerrilla warfare.
I was really hoping she would ask
Crazy.
that.
Guerrilla warfare. Right.
That's a made up thing.
That's a real
You mean
thing.
Planet of the Apes, Mike?
Played him. I can't remember who played him. Andy Garcia plays El Toro.
No.
And
Andy Garcia.
And he's like, "You're the
made-up
ghost." And he's
guy.
like, "It's a fake book. It's not a real book." He's like, "If it's fake, I'm gonna kill you." He's like, "I am the ghost," you know. So,
Oh, man, I'm going to
yeah,
kill you.
it didn't take hard to twist his arm.
No,
So,
no.
You got me.
El Toro basically tells
He's like,
him,
"Shit."
"We want to lead the people for a revolution, and
And we need the
you need to
ghost's
kill the
help."
president, Miguel Cueto." He's
Presidente.
El Presidente,
Played by.
played by
speak
Kim
Spanish.
Coates from Sons of Anarchy.
Kim Jong.
Okay.
And he's very American. That comes in play later because he's called Miguel Mike Cueto. So basically, they say you got to
I'm
kill
very-
him.
very
He likes,
American.
yeah. So you need to kill the president. He's a bad guy, Presidente. He's very bad. You got to kill him, and once you kill him, we'll send him home.
I have a
he-
feeling this Presidente is not bad.
So he goes
No,
to
no,
like
he is. He's a
find the
caudillo.
Presidente, but then he gets like stopped by these dirty cops who are working for this Russian named
Wait, where did the Russians
Masovich.
come from?
Masovich,
Played by
is there.
John
Does
Travolta.
not matter.
Oh.
It doesn't matter who's played by.
Damn, it would've been cool
Anton
if it was John
Masovich pays these cops to get him. He's about to get killed by the cops, and then Rosa, the female,
Played by.
doesn't matter. doesn't
I'm hoping
matter.
they had some great
That one doesn't
cameos
matter
in this.
either.
Such a shitty
Actually,
film, like,
the girl who was originally cast as Rosa, halfway through production, she hurt herself, and they had to recast the whole role. That's the only fact I have of this movie.
So did they
although
use two different girls?
Rosa
No, it's, they reshot
used
all
to
of her
be
stuff.
That
much
would have been
more
way
beautiful.
funnier.
So Rosa saves him. Is like, you got to help me solve this thing. You got to help
They
me
should've
solve
just
this.
taken her
So
character
he
out.
goes to
Rosa,
Masovich, and Masovich wants him to
save me.
kill El Toro. And he's like, this is confusing. Then he gets taken by
I said the
El
same
Presidente's general people, and they catch him. They're like, you have to kill El Toro.
And you're
so
the
now
ghost.
he's got to kill. They all think he's the ghost.
And then you spin the wheel and you'll
Did
find
they-
out the
whole
third
time-
person you
whole
killed.
time, like these CIA guys are watching him, like from like different angles,
And they're
stuff.
laughing their
and they're
asses
laughing.
off.
He's like, he's not the ghost, and they're like, but what if he is? And they start reading his book and stuff. It's super dumb.
Wait, did they
oh,
look at
no.
the guy?
Yeah, and they're all
Like,
like,
did
he's
they
this
see
fat
him?
American guy. He can't be the ghost, but maybe
So
that's
they all
his.
saw Kevin
That's his
James
cover.
He's in
And
a
they
fat
thought he was
suit.
telling the
No,
truth.
they all look at him and like, this guy is a fat American guy. He can't be the ghost, but that could be his cover. Like that's the constant theme of like,
He's a
maybe
sleeper.
that's what the ghost
Conceptually,
wants you to think.
This sounds like a great film conceptually.
What happened next? Jeez, I went through all the names.
Concept's strong, guys.
You
It's
went
good.
through all the
Yeah.
names.
I went through, that's all, I went through everything out of my favor. So basically, he goes to the ball, and you find out like
Wait, what?
the
There's a
president.
ball.
Yeah, everyone wants him to kill the president at the ball, and he's like, "I'll kill Masovich at the ball."
I'll kill
And
this
so
guy
he
and
goes
this
to the
guy at the
ball.
ball.
He works with El Toro's people because they need like a small army, and then he goes to the ball where he finds out that Presidente Miguel Cueto is actually Mike from San Diego. He's a Padres fan. And he's just doing this for the CIA. And then he gets super depressed because he finds out that like
Everybody's trying to
Kevin
kill him.
James recorded him saying that he wanted him to kill Masovich so that they can use it against him. And then he kills himself, El Presidente. So now everyone thinks Kevin James the
Actually
ghost
did
killed
win-
him.
That's
go.
brutal.
He really is
They
the
kill him.
ghost.
Oh,
And then
man.
How could you, Paul Blart?
Rosa kills Masovich
look, he made
because
it
she
look
always
like it was
wanted to kill
suicide.
Masovich because he's like brought drug trafficking in Venezuela.
Rosa has dreamed about this for her entire life.
Exactly. And then they go back to El Toro, and he's like, hey, good job. You guys are like my buddies. And then like he
El
tries to
Toro
kill the
kills
ghost. Oh, man, you totally called that. Tries to kill the ghost. But
And
he,
the
like,
real
stops
ghost
El
shows
Toro
up.
by using like the same kind of style of how how in the very first scene where he's picturing go jumping out of the helicopter. It was
Of
like
course.
the same
And
way.
then Kevin James
Because in
can't
my
really do
mind-
it because he's really fat.
But El Toro has a friend named Juan who like follows Kevin James around, and like he's kind of a badass with like a gun, and he like doesn't believe he's the ghost. At the end, he ends up being like the Venezuela Presidente, and Kevin James
He's
writes
really
another
waiting
book,
for
and
him.
he's rich. And
Did the
stuff.
real ghost show up?
They did. The real ghost was his friend Amos from the pool hall,
Nice.
Of course he
Yeah.
was. And Amos showed up and,
and saved
rescued
him from the Presidente's general. But
Realismo.
actually, the
I
other
wish that
fact.
the ghost had killed Kevin James.
Yeah,
That would have
no,
been
I
funny.
love
Like,
it. I told you not to
stole my
use this.
son!
Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost just shows up and murders
the other
him.
Don't
fact
give
I
anything
have
away,
of
but
this-
does Kevin James die?
No.
Yes.
This-
He writes another book.
Don't
that
give
is
anything
like,
away,
It's
but-
like the made-up tales of like international assassin, and
But
the
you
girl
said
that
it's
she
a
interviewed
fake
with
one?
earlier was like, "So a lot of the stuff in your book sounds like a lot of stuff that happened in Venezuela. Is this actually real?" And he's like, "No, it's not." And then it ends, and that's it.
Okay.
The other fact is people in Venezuela actually have Netflix, and they watched this movie, and they were very offended by this movie. They were not happy with the representation of Venezuela told by the
Surprise.
story of Kevin James and Adam Sandler's
Surprise.
production company. So that's it. What'd you guys think, guys?
Oh, that was
So
horrible.
I have
Wasn't that
questions.
great?
I have a lot of
You're
questions.
Yeah.
Do you have questions? I didn't know you had
So,
any questions for this.
At any
Okay.
point was Kevin James in any real danger?
Oh, all the time. He was constant. And they would do these things where, like, he was in danger and they hold a
24/7.
gun, like, let's go. And then there would be a scene where, like, he disarmed the gun and beat him up, and then it would cut to, like, what actually happened. He's like, okay, I'm going.
Aww.
So, like, he was just a punk bitch until the end. He actually, like, he actually grew some balls
It's
and,
like
like,
a
saved
joke.
Rosa
Like,
and
he's like,
stuff.
yeah, look at what I did. Look what I didn't.
Yeah. Like, there's this one part he threw a knife at the guy. I'm like, yeah, using those training skills. And then it cut to, like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And it's like, ah, damn
I
it.
mean, it's one thing
What
to
a
be
pussy.
it's one thing to be Kevin James and do these really cool things and then brag about it. But
Yeah.
if you're the actual ghost and you've been telling your friend and bragging about it this whole time, like you kind of seem like a pretentious asshole. Like, yeah, we know you jumped out of a plane, dude. Shut up.
It's like,
Like he's literally bragging about himself, but like, no, it's a secret agent.
So, in a scale from Paul Blart
Amos is an
to
asshole.
King of Queens, where did this one?
I've never watched any of those.
it was
all in the
post
same-
post divorce.
It's just not. It's it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not like terrible. Like I
Like
want to
Double
like
Down?
stab my eyes out. See, I love Double Down. Double Down's so bad, it's amazing. But like it's not good. It's just not entertaining. It's not very fun. The story's predictable, as
like
Lauren was
Biodome.
calling it. I love Biodome.
Its mediocrity made you feel
It
insulted.
really is just kind of like you know, if
Leo
I
the
came up to
Lion.
you guys with just like a mediocre idea and you guys were like, that's amazing, we should do it. It's like, why you guys shouldn't support my mediocre ideas, but Kevin James did. And he supported it, and Andy Garcia did too.
Well, what a great review, Mike. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. What a great movie. Super
God,
fantastic.
that was really good.
And
That
now
was
number
horrible,
0
Lauren.
to number hero.
Yes.
Who lost this week?
To
Dave.
number
Dave,
hero.
I've given you some humiliation films.
Yeah, a couple.
What was one of them that I
Contracted.
gave? Contracted was the one I've literally gotten
And what
emails
was the
telling
other
me
one?
how I'm a
The
terrible
eyes,
the
person.
color of
The
my
color of
my
your
No, that
lover's
was he
tears.
gave to me.
Oh.
Yes.
Was there another one? I
No,
gave?
Dave gave you the thief, the wife, his
Didn't I
lover,
give
and then
you-
you gave him
You gave
the,
me a French one right after that. That
Did-
was really weird.
Didn't I
Like,
give
color
you
of my
Deathbed, the
lovers.
bed that eats people?
No.
Yeah,
You did that
I
to me?
did
thought
give
that
you
was
Deathbed,
me.
the bed that eats people.
It was
You
really
did give
like,
it to me.
I gave that to you, so I feel like I want to stick on that theme.
damn it.
I want to stick on a theme where there's a horror movie of something that you wouldn't expect to hurt you
an inanimate object.
wants to hurt
Toothbrush.
you.
A
A
death tree.
toothbrush. That'd be
So
cool. Was it
you-
a toothbrush?
From hell.
I looked
Death
up on
shirt.
businessinsiders.com. That's also been my theme, Googling worst movies ever. And
Expecting
businessinsiders.com, I went to them. And this was their number 7 movie of worst of all time. This movie is
Sweater
called
choke.
The Mangler.
Oh.
The
it about a hat?
Mangler.
Here I
A laundry folding machine has been possessed by a demon, causing it to
pretty
develop
The
homicidal
Mangler, Dave.
tendencies.
I was pretty
A
close.
laundry folding machine. Soon we're gonna get you a whole house of possessed things.
Hey, you gave me one of a house that was possessed.
Yeah, I did. This has a
diabolical.
Metascore out of 100. It has an 8,
Woo!
and out of 10 on IMDb, a
Next.
4.
Next week,
So the Mangler,
Mangler.
brought to you by Dave.
The Mangler.
Next week.
the sequel to The Stool.
I feel like that would have been like
From the makers of Deathbed and Clock is Scary, we bring you The Mangler.
Watch out, Clock is here.
Oh no,
Dong.
the cuckoo clock! Is it chasing us? No, it's stuck to the wall, but still, don't touch it.
Watch
Well-
out for its bird of death.
Come back,
Mangler.
come back to hear my tortured review of
The Mangler.
and also to hear our picks
Mangler.
and to see if the
I
dog
won
movie
this
beats
week.
the shark movie, or if a sequel takes an Anna baby.
Or if
and
Black
makes
Klansman
it-
surprises all of us
Or
and
Yeah,
jumps
and
in
then
the top
shit
five.
shows up in the number one.
Yeah.
Mamma mia.
But either way, you can check us out at www.blockbusterpick'ems.com. Also on our Twitter tags, iTunes,
Google
Twitch.
Play.
Google,
Twitcher.
the regular
Stitcher.
thing.
Stitcher.
Twitcher.
But
Just
most
Twitch,
importantly,
Lauren. Just
everybody-
Flickster.
But most
Have you
importantly,
seen-
everybody stay safe and don't watch us
Stay
while you're
safe.
driving.
And
Don't
go
watch
see
Meg
Slender
while
Man.
in the ocean with sharks.
Don't watch Meg.
Don't go in the
I'm having a
Watch
viewing
Meg.
party at my pool. We're gonna put a projector up of the Meg, and we're all gonna sit on
gonna
floaties.
put a
Matt's
projector on.
address is 5555
55
Hillcrest
Street.
Drive. Everybody have a wonderful night. Or